This is going to be the first video of a new series that I'm going to try out, all about strategy testing and improving and finding out stuff, all about rule-based strategies. It's going to be sort of a look over my shoulder because that's how I spend a lot of my time developing strategies. And if I show you ones I test, I can show you where you can get ideas from. I can test some of your ideas. I can look at if they do work, if they don't work, show you how to correctly test them and improve them ultimately. So you get to see what I do, and I get to probably test a lot more strategies than I have been testing. So I get to speed up my research. So the first strategy in this series that we're going to look at is one that I found on Forex Factory. It's a popular forum. I'm sure if you're in the Forex trading space, you've heard of it. And it was a strategy that a subscriber asked me to look at. And it works off the 4-hour bars. It's ever so simple. It's 4-hour bars with an exponential moving average. It's a 30 period exponential moving average. And we're looking at basically taking short signals when the bar is below the moving average, and only looking for long signals when the bar is above the moving average. So rules to go long, the whole bar has to be above the moving average, and what we're looking for is an outside bar. That's our setup bar on the 400 or the 4 or 240 minute chart, the minute bars. So what we're looking for is an outside bar. So there's some more bars here, and so this bar here happens to be an outside bar because the range of the bar, the high is greater than the high of the previous bar, and the low is the low is lower than the low of the previous bar. So the whole body of that bar is outside of the bar prior to it, and because the whole bar is above the 30 period exponential moving average, that's our setup bar. As soon as we see the close on this bar, that's actually the trigger. What we do is we go long at the open of the next bar. So we wait for the close, that's our setup bar, then we go long. And the mirror image of short trades, we're looking for bars that are below the 30 period moving average and outside bars. There's one other rule that we need to be aware of. So if we're looking for long trades, we must see, in fact this is a bad example because this is actually wrong. What we do want to see is an outside bar with an up close, as in the close of the bar is higher than the open of the bar. So that would actually be our long signal there. If the close was down here, lower than the open, it wouldn't be a trade. And mirror image on the short side. Like this bar, it's an outside bar, the close is lower than the open, so that's our trigger to go short there at the start of the next bar. Dead simple. I like it. This is sort of strategy I like because it's simple. Often these sort of simple strategies do work very well in forward testing or live markets. Unfortunately, the person that had written about this strategy was a little bit vague on the exit. It wasn't rigid. They were talking about Fibonacci levels, which I don't tend to get too involved in. I don't find they work that particularly well in mechanical and algorithmic trading strategies. So I'm going to do a load of testing on different exits. I haven't decided exactly yet, but I will give you a look at that. Again, come over my shoulder, look at the computer, see what we're doing. And at the end of this series on this particular outside bar 4-hour outside bar strategy, you'll know whether it works, whether it doesn't work. If it does, it's great, you can use it. If it doesn't, we'll move on, and hopefully you've seen an insight about how I go about testing strategies the proper way. Okay. Okay, so it's a few hours later on this strategy, this 4-hour outside bar type strategy, and I've managed to do a bit of coding. And as you can see, I use multi-charts, by the way. It's the platform that I use not only to backtest, but to develop, and I also use it for auto trading. So I've managed to put in a basic code. I've got the entries just right. You might be able to see if it's out of focus. You'll see that I've got two charts there. I've got a 240 or a 4-hour chart, and then I've got a sub chart, which is a 10-minute chart. I'll probably explain why I do that in later videos, but I tend to run the code from the higher definition chart, so the 10-minute chart. It allows me to sort of look into the 4-hour bar. I will explain a little. It sounds a bit confusing. Ignore it for now, but I will explain that more in future videos, in these sort of testing videos. So as you can see down the bottom, I've got a 240-minute bar, which is a 4-hour chart, and the exponential moving average, the 30-period moving average. And at the top is the 10-minute chart, where you can see the signals are taken from. What I'll do, just increase that. These are the signals there, and I'll actually start recording my screen in a while, or in the next video, and show you exactly what's going on. We'll have a look at the code, and at the moment with this code, what I've done is, I mentioned there was no, the person who posted the rules was a little bit vague about the exits, which are really important, aren't they? So at the moment I've got two different exits. I've got a simple amount of pips, or what I call a dollar exit, so looking for a profit target, and same with the stop loss. So one might be like a 100 pip stop loss, and the exit might be a 50 pip target, for example. That's the first type of exit and stop loss that I've coded. The second type of exit and the stop loss is a more dynamic one. What it does is it actually uses the range of the 4-hour bar. It measures how many pips were in that bar, and the stop loss and the target is simply a percentage of that range. So they're the two types of exit. In the next videos, what I'll probably do is start testing all different types of exits, and I'm going to start with euro dollar. It's one of the major pairs. I kind of know it inside out in terms of developing strategies for it. So if you've got any questions, leave them down below, and I'll be sure to answer them in the next video. I know you couldn't see my screen particularly well looking over my shoulder, so I'll literally just point the camera and give you a little bit of an idea of what's going on. Okay, so like I said, this main chart here is the 240 or 4-hour chart. If we look at this bar here, let's take that off. This bar here, for example, here's our outside bar, and what I do is I actually I take the trades from the higher definition chart, which is the 10-minute chart. So that was the setup bar. There's our entry. This one happened to hit the profit target. Like I said, just literally playing around with some levels at the moment. But there you go. That's a little bit of a better look at my chart. I'll show you much more about the charts when I do some proper screen recording. But for now, I just wanted a quick rough show you exactly what I was up to, what I was getting on with, and I'm going to put the camera away and carry on coding and testing so I can give you guys some results. So again, any questions or comments or requests, leave them in the comments down below, and I'll see you very shortly on the next update.